We see this change and this rapid change in the last 5 years or so in photography. And for a lot of people, that's scary, and for a lot of people, that's confusing. But when there is rapid change, there's also opportunity. And there's a lot of opportunity right now in photography. The only thing that's happened is the cheese has moved, right? So we knew for years, you make a print image for print media, you sell it, you get paid. Make a print image for print media, sell it, and get paid. And all of a sudden, because of these, instantly it was changed, right? We're all consuming content on the smartphone. And it's not that print media is dead, it's still here, but it's definitely not the main point of consumption for consumers. Think about for a moment that there's over 1 billion iPhones alone in the world, 1 billion. So as you know, when I got slow with my business in 2009, I didn't work for 6 months. That's after winning 5 Addies. I thought, oh, my year's set. Nope, didn't work until end of June. So that was really tough. And so I thought about, okay, what's going on here? What's really happening? And I noticed that, I'm like trying to figure out what's going on. But I'm like, wait a second, it's all here. It's in the palm of my hand. So I started to rethink, how can I, as a photographer, still be creative and use my vision and still stay in business? And what I ended up doing is creating content for these screens. So the idea is that you really want to be creative with your work. Explore it and allow yourself to be uncomfortable. If you don't like shooting landscapes, try shooting some landscapes. If you don't like street portraits, try shooting some street portraits. The idea is to kind of get you out of your comfort zone, because you may turn out that you actually like it. It's almost like trying on clothing, right? You try on some clothing like, oh, I don't know, this is kind of strange. Maybe you wear it for a little bit, and then you find out that it's nice. And for professionals and anyone that's doing this for a living, or anyone, if you know people that do it for a living, no one can take your job. You can't take my job, I can't take your jobs. That is some sort of weird myth that, oh, these amateurs are taking our jobs. The thing is, the reality is, if you are a professional photographer and your jobs are being gobbled up by non-professionals, you gotta up your game. That's the reality, you gotta up your game. So services like Facebook and Google, you pay for interactions, and you can also get paid for interactions. And they want to capture as much of your mind space as possible, and you got to be careful there. It's a slippery slope. It's like a never-ending. It's like this. It's like never-ending. It's just zipping by, and you may find yourself, when you're off of social media, feeling bad about yourself, feeling like you're not good enough. All these things come up, and I'm telling you, because this is what happens with me. I'm actually not on Facebook for my own personal account for this month. I've taken the whole month off. Okay, allow yourself time to be bored. Allow yourself time to be present. That's how you're going to get to make good content. It's better to share less, but to share good content, than it is just to share it for the purpose of sharing. Okay, it's like if we were like in a big party and everyone's talking and no one's saying anything, and no one's talking, we're all just talking about how awesome we are. I'm awesome, and everyone's like, I'm awesome too, and I'm awesome, and let me tell you what I got to say, but no one's talking to each other. There's this appearance, there's this facade that we're all connected through social media, but we've never really been so disconnected. Just go outside and walk around. I mean, who says hi to you? Everyone's walking around like this, right? I'm a little old school when I talk about this, but the most important network is your website. Okay, I have no affiliation with Squarespace, but I use Squarespace to power my websites because it's very cost effective and the tools are really good. I can run everything off my iPhone. Okay, when you remove these barriers that we used to pay like 5 figures for, because I used to pay tens of thousands of dollars for a website, now I pay like $80 a year. Okay, that's huge. When the barriers are removed, the tools are good. You want to have your own website. I struggle with the idea is that, okay, so I'm creating video and stills and audio content for screens. Am I still a photographer? And I say yes. Right now I'm saying I am still a photographer. It's just that the photography is changing. And that's just how it goes. Photography, just like with the painters, the tool came out that kind of took the painters and said, okay, now you got to be creative. And now we have tools that are coming out for photography, and photography is changing. And if we are creative and we are creating, then we're still photographers. We're just creating in new and different ways. But the core of what we do, the soul of our work is still going to be a photograph. And that's where we need to not get confused. Use video. Video is a great tool. Use audio. It's a great tool. But root everything you do in photography. Never change that photographic mindset. It's a very special way to communicate when you can make a whole story in one image And now you have the opportunity to have 30 images in a second and audio. A whole new world exists. So you want to make sure whatever you do when you're creating your content is that you're rooting it in the heart of a photograph. If you don't know what your vision is and you just don't know, share that. Take an image, say I'm exploring, and be honest. You don't have to be like, I'm so awesome, I'm changing my name to Zeus because I'm a god. Just like just be yourself and share your struggles. I'm struggling with this piece. For me, I was like, I'm struggling with my vision. I got to figure out who I am. So I said, I'm going to just shoot black and white until I figure it out. And I made a whole new body of work. And it wasn't my intention to make a whole new body of work. It just kind of happened by exploring and trying to figure out who I was. One of the problems with the smartphone, and I love my smartphone, but one of the problems is because the camera is so easy to operate, we often are creating without intent. So you're walking around, and I do this too. I'm like, oh, that's great, candy, boom. That's camera, boom. Sky, boom. Feet, boom. This, boom. That, boom. And there's no focus. You're creating casually, and creating casually is you can get into a slippery slope. There's a time and place to be casual because we all have those happy accidents, right? You find something, oh wow, and how did I do that? And you try to figure it out. That's a really cool process. JPEG and RAW. Anybody here JPEG shooters? All right, good. I like to think we're all JPEG shooters because if it goes online, guess what? It's a JPEG, right? That's it. If it goes online, it's a JPEG. I don't wear a shirt that says I shoot RAW. If I have a shirt, it's going to say I shoot JPEG Superfine. That's more my model. But the idea is if you can shoot JPEG and RAW, which is what I'm showing here, there's multiple ways to do it. If you can shoot JPEG and RAW, that's the best of both worlds. Okay, and it's going to help you understand your camera. And I do a lot of creating in camera. I make my own looks in camera, but then I also have the RAW. Because sometimes I'll do an assignment and I'm going to create it all in black and white, and the client's like, oh, this is great. Or maybe I'm shooting for myself and I'm like, this is going to be great in black and white. And I create it, I'm like, later I'm like, I think I want it in color. I have the RAW to go back to color later. So, memory is so cost effective, why limit yourself to one or the other? Definitely do both. It also helps you to really learn your camera. You really want to understand how your camera captures, and all systems are different, and all cameras in the systems are a little different. So I'm going to talk again about video. If you're creating content online, video is where it's at right now. So anytime you're on Facebook or Instagram, we're seeing a lot of video now, right? And you go down in your feed, and a lot of it is just from who knows how it got there. It's video. It's because video gets people's attention. And in a sea of chaos, where we're all used to seeing a static image, video has a whole new dimension. It gets our attention. So if you, like when I'm doing a presentation with advertisers, I would talk about video. And video gets 400 to 500% more engagement online than the still image. It's not that video is replacing a photograph, again, because I'm rooting my content in the photograph, but video gets more eyes, and if you have audio, it's going to get ears, than just a still photo. And the nice thing is, because I shoot everything in 4K, I can go and pull a frame out, even in camera. It's called 4K photo, because 4K is 8 megapixels for every frame of video, which is incredible. You can make a 60-inch print off that. So when I shoot video, a lot of my work's video-based, and the client's like, can we have a still? Yeah, no problem. Pull it right out if it's in the camera, or I use Lightroom or whatever. And then I have another product to sell them, but I also have the video. So if you're selling content, you're offering one product, but now if you're selling content because you're using video as well, you have 2 products, and audio 3 products. Without doing any more work, you're already ahead of the game. If you are using creativity to make a photograph, your creativity also applies to the tools. If you're thinking of something that, it's cheesy, maybe you're not thinking about it creatively enough. Maybe you're not applying a creative solution to your image making. So think about it that way. How can I use this tool in a creative way? If it's a fit, it's a fit. If it's not a fit, it's not a fit. You don't have to use a star filter on everything, or the miniature mode. You use it when it works, but when it's there, you have it. You shoot JPEG and RAW, you get the best of both worlds. So imagine this. Here's your computer, right? This is your computer. It doesn't have to be your camera. It can, but you have a dedicated camera. You have your computer. All your post-processing can be done in camera, we call pre-processing, and then any little post work you do on your phone, you back it up on the spot. You got a cloud backup, it's archived for you, and then you can share it from here, and then it synchronizes with all your devices. That's a full kit right there for a lot of people. You know, for most of my everyday stuff, that is my full kit. I don't need to take more than that. I'm able to be creative and self-expressed, and I make good video, and I make compelling audio, and I make good stills, of course, with a simple kit like that. So use hashtags. Anybody here, are we using hashtags for our work? So hashtags, we used to call them a pound symbol, or tic-tac-toe, or tic-tac-doe, if you were a fan of the show back in the day. I think it was Richard Dawson, but never mind. Use those hashtags. That should be part of your branding. So my hashtag is carry less, create more. I use that hashtag so that I can pull it up anytime in any of the social networks, and I can see people that are also using that same hashtag because they're creating more with smaller cameras. I use it to find all my work. And you can use your own, it could just be your name. You can do hashtag your name. And then anytime somebody clicks on that, they'll find you, or they'll find people that are sharing your work. And it costs nothing. You don't have to do a ton of them. It used to be that you'd want to do a ton of, and you'd see like a photo on Instagram and then like a few paragraphs. And like, what is this? It's like red, purple, blue, street, this, you know. I use about 5 or 6. That's about it. So you want to share constantly, and you know, if you can share once a day, that's great. If you can't, do twice a week, a Tuesday or Thursday, whatever, but do it constantly or consistently. You want to do it consistently. Be consistent so people know that, okay, every Tuesday I'm going to see a cool landscape by so-and-so, you know. You want to create far more than you consume, okay? Far more than you consume. We spend too much time online, but if the time you do spend online is good time, if it's good content, if you're showing your best work, if Instagram becomes your living portfolio that sends people to your website where they can see the images larger, because sometimes you want to see them larger than this, right? You want to see a larger image. Now you're being productive. You're growing as an artist. Other people are going to start to take note. But if you're just like sharing things, or you're trying to be this person, you're trying to be that person, you're losing your identity, you know, and none of it's really good, you know. And it happens a lot. You see that, and a lot of it can be faked. I mean, Photoshop, hello, you know. Okay, one thing that we have, we all share as photographers is as you allow yourself to be vulnerable, you have fears. We all have fears. I mean, there's many times throughout the year where I'm like, I don't know if I'm still going to continue as a photographer, and then the next day I'm like, what was I thinking? You know what I mean? This happens though. When you allow yourself to be open, you wear your heart on your sleeve. Sometimes it gets a little bruised up, but none of this is complicated. You just have to take action. And if you're consistent, and if you're doing all the things I'm telling you, then in a way you are in social media, but you kind of have your blinders on. I'm not worried about what Justin Bieber's doing, or this reality show, or the dude that looks like a lumberjack, or any of that crap. I'm a photographer, and I'm creating, and I'm Giulio, and you know, or whoever you are. And that's the idea. And then if you can turn it into some income, that is a great way to do it. So you can't just get a basketball and say, all right, I'm ready for the NBA. And they're going to be like, Giulio, you got to lose about 40 pounds and grow a little higher, and you got to learn how to shoot a basket. I'm like, but I got the jumpsuit on, I got the basketball, and I got the kicks. No, it doesn't happen like that. If you're consistent over time, okay, and you're using your brand, and your message is consistent, and you're creating good work, you're only showing your best work, and then you start to work with affiliate programs, which is really the low-hanging fruit. You should start there. And then you're reaching out to these companies, and they're going to start putting you in touch. Then it starts to say, okay, this is the organizations will look at you and say, this is a safe person we can have work with us, part of our brand. And those organizations I call partnerships. So I partner with Panasonic. I partner with companies that we have a good relationship with. They share my work. I share some of the stuff they do. We talk about it, and it's mutually beneficial for everybody, including you guys. And that's really what I think a professional is, and any profession is, you do the things you don't want to do because that is your profession. You know, I'm sure a lot of doctors don't want to do their job. It can be a messy profession, but you know, they're professionals. They're going to do their job, and it's the same thing with photography. Treat yourself as a business. You're your own client.
Whether you're a hobbyist or a professional, B&H has the answers to your questions. Experience a world of technology at our New York City Superstore. Connect with us online or give us a call. Our staff of experts is happy to help.